So the reason that I had you over today is because I wanted to discuss today's subject, which is when is the right age for kids to move out of the house. I have my own kind of thoughts and opinions about that, but I just wanted to kind of get your take on it. I mean, what you got for me?
Okay, well, thank you first for having us. I'm so glad and so proud to hear that you look at us like a legend. We do take this parenting day thing one day at a time.
Amen.
So it's one of those things that you really can't put a cap on it. So thinking about Chato and I, we have three children, 19, 15, and 8.
All
So
right.
you do see some huge gaps in between the kids and their ages. But when we think about it, one, our kids are being raised totally different from how we were raised.
Okay.
So,
What do you mean by that?
I mean, like, I was outside on my bicycle probably like 5 miles from my house
True. True.
at 16, where my kids prefer to be home in the cul-de-sac outside playing basketball, right at home.
At home.
So that in itself, the age and kind of how they're growing up at this time is totally different.
Okay.
So when we think about what typically our parents probably said, when you turn 18, you out of here.
Yeah, that's common.
Very
That's
common.
that's common. Do you think that's more just your situation or more cultural?
Oh, it's definitely cultural.
Okay.
It's Western
Okay.
culture to be exact
Okay.
in that part.
So it's not what you've experienced or researched. It's not exactly fluent throughout the world, is what I'm saying.
No, it's not fluent throughout the world at all. It is actually very common in the Western culture. So let's go with most cultures will say when you get married, you move out.
Okay.
Once you're established, you have everything together, you move out. Whereas here in, let's say, America,
Hmm.
18 is that capping point. Like, okay, you have everything you need. Now get out of my house.
All right.
But that's not necessarily what's best. Like, I turned, 17, went off to college, and I've never been back in my parents' house.
Ah. Okay.
But that's not to say I have not had my share of struggles in which I kind of felt like I probably should have gone back home, or
Hmm.
I probably shouldn't have left because I was very, very young.
All right.
Um, but I don't go back because I feel like, well, I'm past 18. I'm not supposed to go back.
Gotcha. So was
So
it some type of, I guess, some type of pride that, or what would you call it when you say you're not supposed to go back? Was that kind of, I would say, was it taught to you?
not necessarily you can't come back in here. I've never been given that at all. Like I feel like if I probably like, oh mom, please, please, so I just really need
Okay.
to, she would have definitely been like, come back.
All right.
But I didn't feel like I would have been respected as an adult, as an
Ah,
individual,
gotcha.
as somebody who could actually stand on their own. I feel like I would have been treated like a baby or someone who needed to be coddled.
Mm, mm.
But in that coddling, you back there with auntie and uncle and you talking about me.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah, I'm familiar. I'm familiar with that. I can speak on
So,
that in a moment. But yeah,
yep.
yeah, that's kind of it goes, and I think it plays to a level of pride on the parents as well,
Hmm.
because when you're out at 18 and you're not coming back home, yeah, they doing their own thing. They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
And when you're in the house, and I'll speak about that because that was partly my situation. When your house at a certain age, past, I guess, what's acceptable,
Hmm.
then the level of pride is like based, I guess, upon what you're doing. And then
Right.
when you're in the home, it's kind of have, based on the culture,
Hmm.
you know. And I'll share that story in a little bit more for that. But based on the culture, how I was raised, it just wasn't uh, it just wasn't acceptable, and
No.
I couldn't really, and that played for me. It played on my pride,
Yeah.
especially as a man. I'm supposed to be out. I crossed that stage in high school. I'm done.
Yep.
Like
You
I'm
enter
supposed to take on the
manhood.
world. Make 150,000 a year and drive a few nice cars, and I'm supposed
Hmm.
to do that immediately. Yeah, right. But it's yeah,
It's not reality.
it's not reality, and you drive yourself crazy. I
Yeah.
guess kind of think about that. So let me see. Let me circle back to make sure we stay focused because you had some amazing points there.
Okay.
So go back to the question: when do you think is the right age? Kind of knowing that from what you shared, when do you think is the right age to for kids to move out the house, whether it's their decision or the decision in general or the parents' decision?
Okay, so I hesitate about giving you an age
Gotcha.
because we're comparing all these variety of people and where they are mentally. Like if you put an age on it, it's kind of like saying, well, again, we're back to that 18 is your stopping
Hmm.
point. If I said 21, now we're back to at 21, you have to move out.
Hmm.
But let's say you have a child who's not ready for that major launch, who really doesn't have a true sense of reality. So I'll use our son, for example.
Okay.
And I love to use him as an example, not in a way to belittle him, but in
And
order for
how
him
old is your
to,
son again?
my,
Sorry.
my son is 19. He's
19.
the
All right.
oldest.
All right.
And so it's not in a way to make him feel bad about his decisions, but let him know that I hear and I understand his
Mhm.
decision. So um originally, before I came to this great idea, this I had those same old ideas stuck in my head. I
Mhm.
had that 18 is your end all be all until one, I started looking inward and just kind of reflecting upon myself and what I
Okay.
went through as a child.
Ah.
Did I like it? No, I didn't. So my therapist and I, we worked through a lot of childhood trauma, and a lot of it was that I was putting a pressure on myself that was implied,
Mhm.
but might not have ever been verbally said to me. So those
Mhm.
unspoken rules that we all are governing ourselves by. But I'm thinking that, and then it was like, no, I raised the cul-de-sac kid. My kid at
Yeah.
19 is not driving a car. Not because I don't have the capacity to learn how to drive a car, but because simply I have no desire to drive a car. I'm a little bit scared, like very honest about it's so many other things going on. So when you if I put him out at 18,
Hmm.
a couple of things are possibly going to happen, not to say they are destined. He gonna be a drug addict.
Uh huh.
He might be homeless and he won't tell me because he fears that I'm gonna judge him for coming back home.
Ah. Okay.
So you assume, oh, okay, well, college, that's the thing right now. We're not giving our kids credit. That's a different conversation as well.
Yeah.
Our kids see a lot more than we think that they do. And when they look at just the economy and the idea of college and what college kind of what their parents are being put through, like you
Yeah.
can't do certain things because you're student loans, they look at that and they're like, nah, I don't think I want to do this college thing. Like
Yeah.
really, when you jump into it, it's like teach me something right now today that I can use. And if
Yeah.
you're not doing that,
Yeah.
you're a waste of my time.
Exactly.
But
And I mean, we are in a different era where I guess that respect that we have for schooling and college,
mhm,
then, coming out,
yeah.
you was 2000 grad, something like that, 90, yeah, I'm not 99. So around that era, it was kind of college,
Hmm.
and then the hidden treasure was really the trades.
Right.
And it was kind of over our heads at the time. So it was college and military, which were the options. Like there was nothing. I really didn't see a lot of entrepreneurs at the time.
No.
So that was its own battle. So for me, it was college or nothing. But right, you're right. Right now, we see so much is so much more that's offered to the
Hmm.
students or to kids nowadays that what you're saying is almost it puts a cap on their ambition. Like
Right.
they in that sense, and it's not like they generally know more than us as adults, but in that sense, I think they do. They
Hmm.
understand more because they're eyes wide open. They haven't touched the world
Yes.
yet. I can do anything. For us, it's we're trying to save them from some
Right.
things. Trying, this is how you do it. And I think if we kind of shut up and really listen to our kids, just like we expect them to listen to
Hmm.
us, I mean, we could teach each other exactly. So so much more. So that's why I'm open to. It doesn't matter who you are, young, old.
Hmm.
They had a term, the phrase, what they say, from the mouth of babes.
Yep.
All that. So when you hear it, you got to respect it, just like you expect them to. And yes, um, your age and authority that comes into play some
Yeah.
places, but not all the time because we haven't seen it ourselves as adults,
Hmm.
haven't seen it all. So we can't expect for our word to be the ultimate word.
Yeah.
So what I'm getting from, there's no specific age
No.
that kids, because I agree with you on that. I'll tell. a little bit about. I know you mentioned like you were out the house at 17. You
Hmm.
said, yeah,
Yep.
after college. So your boy, for me, not so much. I was again. I don't know if you know. I'm the youngest on my mom's side, 6 children, and total 11 on mom and dad's side. But growing up, it was the house,
Hmm.
my mom's house, and when I was again the youngest, and there was like a battle for once you hit that age, it
Hmm.
wasn't like I don't ever remember my mom kicking any of my siblings out, but you can see like the internal alpha battle,
Yeah.
and I was never trying to be alpha. I just wanted to go play basketball. So when it finally got to me, and I see everyone move out, and it was like 19, 18, 18, 19. That was the age, 18, 19. I don't even think 20 for anybody.
Hmm.
But when it got to me, I was more so the baby of the family. My mom said I protected you a lot. I didn't want you to share, hear all the stories. Cause I'd be asking like, we related, this person we related. That's my what? So
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of stuff skipped me, a lot of drama. Thank God. Else, I don't have my list is not so full
Yeah.
when I visit to go get help when I have to tell my entire story. So I mean, it is, but just not on that so much. But
Hmm.
it does linger. I tell
Yeah.
you, as a black man, as a young man, like you expect it to be so much more. I mean, you go out and you see kind of, you go out at the time it was clubs for me. You go out to the
Hmm.
club and you see, people with the nice cars. And you ain't got no car. You stay with your mama.
Right.
Talking about that. I'm like, I'm like, but I got to have a great
Right.
personality. I'm a nice guy.
Mm.
But yeah, I mean that plays a toll for the real ones who you go out to seek. But everybody on the surface, they ain't trying to hear that. So for me, that kind of played on my insecurities and pride to say, you know what,
Hmm.
I know I need to do better
Hmm.
individually. I need to go out and get it. But when you don't have the formula to
Hmm.
understand that, and there's no knock on anyone, but when you don't understand the formula to go out there and get it on your own, it's a bit confusing. That'll break it down as a young person to realize like, you know what, you may not be. Can you talk a little bit about I guess the status
Hmm.
of where you are expected to be?
Yep.
Yeah. So what's your take on that? Because a lot of the younger people, and I did some reach. I can't pull up the numbers now, but the level of, and it was just not to go dark, but suicide rates
Hmm.
have increased in certain regions or realms because based on what they see online and what they see. I
I'm not
mean,
surprised.
yeah, and that plays into the bigger picture of what we're talking about. Of I know at 18, I wasn't having all these jewelry and all that
No.
stuff and all this fancy stuff. I was just excited, cool with being with my friends and hanging out, doing things like that. But what is, I guess, what would you tell a younger person who is, that's, I guess, this the overall helping question. What would you tell a younger person coming up, just now graduating around that area, or maybe even after that? What
Oh,
words would you give to them?
okay. So for a younger person growing up right now at this age, one, you've only made it through possibly a fourth of your life.
Okay.
Based on life expectancy, if they say, okay, we're going to live to be about 73 and a half years old, 20% of that or 25% of that is literally age 18.
Okay.
So you still have three-fourths of a way to go. You're going to make mistakes. It is okay to make those mistakes. It's when we hold ourselves to such a high level that we're not allowing grace for us. We're not allowing ourselves to make a mistake and learn from it. Um, you start to lose sight of what you are and
Ah.
start living in what the world says you should be.
Mm.
But it's easy to do now because you have social media, you have TikTok, you have influencers, something that our parents could have never, we didn't have to deal with.
Mm.
But an influencer's whole job is to influence exactly what you think.
Ah.
If you are now changing your thinking to be whatever that influencer told you, they just did their job.
Yeah.
You just gave all the power of self to somebody who just probably made however much commission
Yeah.
off of that new lip gloss you just bought.
Yeah. All of that quick message and the beautiful presentation of it and everything.
Everything. It's
Yeah.
gonna work. You're
Yeah.
gonna
That's
sell,
right.
you're gonna sell, but stop for a second. You just gave all your power, the power of self away. So you don't necessarily need to have go to college at this point.
All
But
right.
you at this point at a little pivot, not even a crossroad. Because let's say you get down the street and it's not working out.
Okay.
It's okay to make another turn
Mm.
instead of pushing towards something that is like driving you into the ground at this point.
Okay.
So just like my son, I have to use him as an
Well,
example.
why wouldn't we? I mean,
Have to use
that's,
it
go with
because,
what you know.
like I said, Shadow and I are building this parent thing
Mhm.
every single day. So after graduate, we're so excited. He's proud of himself. We're proud of him. All right, so what's next? Okay, I'm gonna go to college. Okay, fine. Well, what do you want to do? You want to go away? No, I don't want to go away. Real scary. I want to kind of stay close to home.
Gotcha.
Okay, well, you know what? That's smart. If you go to Valencia, you can do the first 2 years, but use it as a time to figure out if this is what you're looking for, if college is what you want. Get those first 2 years of those basic courses out of the way. Secrets that no one told us. Because I went
True.
straight to fam, like from high school to fam, but I was taking the same gen ed courses that everybody takes in those first 2 years. So
Yep.
I only really played for 2 years of their degree. But anyway, I love my school. I love my alma mater.
That's right. That's
Hell
right.
rattlers. But like he goes there, he does it virtually.
Mm-hmm.
He's in class, hates it. Okay, now we got to have a conversation.
Okay.
We're at the end of semester 1, December. Now let's have a conversation about this. What's going on? Feel like I go to class and they just sit there and talk at me. Do you feel like you're reliving high school? Yeah. That's what makes high school so because someone is standing there talking at you, but you're in the world that people are doing stuff constantly. But you want me to sit still and just listen to you talk at me. So I was like, okay, I get it. But what now? So that's the difference in me saying, okay, baby, you don't have to do anything you don't want to. My response was, I respect everything you just said. You know what? You got it. That's what's in your head. You don't want people doing that to you. I feel you. But what now?
Yeah. And that's a valid question.
Because that's not my job.
Yeah. You got to do something. You got to do something. You know, it don't matter what it is.
You got to do something.
Yeah, you got to do something. You got to do something.
You got to do something.
Yeah.
But it's not that I didn't think he's 18, he has to do something. I thought, okay, you're making a big decision.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to start problem solving. Now what? Because if I would have forced him to go to school, he can make it all the way through, get to the end and be like, I don't want to do any of this. Yeah. But he's going to feel like he wasted 4 years of his life because I told him to. I get,
That's something something to avoid if you see it, coming towards you. So that was, you got to say that was a good call. I mean, that's fair. At least, because here's the thing you can say as a parent, at least I told you. Hey, I told you. You don't remember when I told you we were sitting down? Yeah, so reference that because a lot of it, sometimes resentment does come on.
Yes.
To those choices, whether you are pushed into doing something, or even if you're not pushed into doing something. Why didn't you push me more? Why didn't you? So resentment can come because I think that often comes before accountability.
Exactly.
So when we're, you see that, avoidance of accountability, and I'm a victim of it. You push it toward, oh man, what if I had this? What if dad was in the home? What if, mom didn't work? What if, the time and you weren't there? And it's like, well, whatever. And I look at my counterparts, my age, classmate counterparts, and seeing some of them had the same circumstance, but they just ignored, like, sometimes you just have to not even put too much thought into your circumstance, but rather have a plan of action and really I don't think I accepted it fully. Yep. So, or understood what that life was, the greatness of it I got, but I didn't want to accept like the things that didn't quite sit right with me or made me uncomfortable. So that is, that's just at that. But yeah, I think that you offer some great advice, some grade A advice to anybody looking on, well past high school, or well past that graduating type year, young adult, anybody seeing the future, or who we're on the other side of the future.
Right.
So if you see it, it's kind of like, I'm going to share this with you, and you're going to have to carve it out how you want. But I gave it to you. I gave this piece of advice, and you're not going to tell me I love you. But it ain't so pretty sometimes.
It's not. I'm going to put this out here in the universe. You do it whatever you need to. But it's there.
Yeah.
But I tell him that, but I also stand next to him and say, but if you should choose to go further than your reach allows right now, come back home.
Yeah.
So he has I tried to catch both sides of it because I know what I'm saying is a harsh reality, but it's also pushing you to say, well, I need to be independent now. But I don't want you to feel that way. I don't want you to go out and you're struggling so much that you're afraid to come home.
Okay.
Your pride is saying you can't come home. And a lot of women find ourselves in those situations where we thought we were grown and we moved out and we moved in with a dude and the dude is beating on us. The dude is treating us horribly, but we can't come back home because we're going to have to eat some words, but we can't. So we stay in it. And then now we're creating different cycles. So a lot of the stuff kind of stems from when you leave the house, when you leave what you deem to be home for independence. And not somebody pushing you because it doesn't make for a great ending. And I tell so many of my mom's friends because they tell me and I'm like, yeah, he's home. And they always want to give you the tidbit of advice. So these are people that are in their 60s at this point in time. So everybody has raised a couple of kids. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, well, he's home right now. I'm not really pushing him. He's working full time and then we'll go from there. Nope, you got to kick him out soon. If you don't kick him out soon, they'll never leave. My response is, oh, okay, thank you.
Look, the real response,
bitch.
No, you good. No, that's what it be like. Now you go past that initial word and you just like, I'm disrespectful. How do I put this?
That's why Trey out there on the streets right now. That's what you want to say.
Yeah. But you I see what you produced. That's what you look. I see what you produced. Look, you ain't batting 1,000.
Use take two,
my girl. You ain't, my girl. You ain't batting 1,000. No. So don't even.
No.
Yeah, come on now. Let's be honest just for a second, and just be humble because we all want to step up and be the best. Yeah. Let's be humble and get this truth.
Yeah.
So
my inside head said all of that. My outside voice said, the one who's been through therapy and is successful, pat yourself on. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Steph had a good talk with friends. My dog E, and we was talking, but you don't argue what he said. You don't argue with fools, especially we spoke on it was on beliefs.
Yep.
He's like, I know my belief in life. And say you don't argue. Yeah, we just kind of like gave the nod, like that's what you. It's kind of what you should do. But however, they be what's the word when they try to get you online to what is it?
Recruiting you?
No, not recruiting you. Recruitment? No, when they try to get you online. No, the word was not fish. I just had it and then I laughed. I wanted to try to be funny. My bad, troll. When they try to get you in a certain way, my bad. So somebody trying to,
get your soft spots.
Yeah. Yeah. So that thought is out the window. Yeah. That complete thought. I'm gonna keep it rolling, but no, it's avoiding fools. I think the conversation was not debating with fools. Mm-hmm. So people will try to troll you in real life.
Yes.
By trying to, and you don't have to argue. I believe in this. Okay, you don't believe in that? Why do you want to know, first of all? Right. And then second, if you really want to know, close person in my life, I believe in it because I believe in it. Mm-hmm. Oh, no, that's wrong. Here's I'll tell you why. Yeah. You shouldn't be doing it. Here's what I'll tell you why. Now, I listen to good advice, but if you got to, again, see, if you see in a person's life and you see how they living.
You like, you giving advice?
Yeah. I'm going to tell you how to be a millionaire.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I respect that. Speaking of living at homes with your mom,
right?
And then you see that, I'll teach you how to be a millionaire. Be quiet, my mom in the other room. She said,
Mom, what?
I ain't supposed to have no company,
right?
Yeah, as we're 40 plus. So look, ain't no disrespect to anybody.
You talking about when is the right
disrespect to anybody? No, but I meant that on the value of what they had to say. Like sometimes you see the people's value. But totally lost that. But what I will say is back to the age of things. I mean, it is no specific age where you need to be out. Again, like finish my story. Working at a job and I ended up first job out of college and late graduate. I was at like 24 years old.
Mhm.
Um, and I didn't feel so bad because I played college basketball, and the dude that played above me, I was junior, he was a senior. He think he was 26 at the time. He could hoop.
Mhm.
Yeah, he could ball. He was ball. Shout out Tony Jefferson. No, dude, yeah,
TJ.
that is no, yeah. TJ could hoop, but no, he was a little older than me.
Mhm.
But going to school and it really kind of slowed my perspective down to a good side, to a good level. I say in the bad level because I seen that there was no rush even on graduating. So
Okay.
that was kind of my take when I seen older people because I took a year off of school, uh, just wanted to, trying to get to basketball because
Yeah.
I didn't equate it to any. I just wanted basketball because that ceiling was something I wasn't ready to look at yet.
Mhm.
So I just want to do basketball. So I go and miss a year or sit out a year. So with that and then getting hurt, I was 2 years kind of behind.
Mhm.
And when I finally graduated 24, but seeing the different ages and the people who are in college, my classmates, when I'm 19, classmates are like 67,
Mhm.
classmates are in their 40s, classmates. So I was like, you know what? And they're going back to school. Like
Yeah.
there's no, I guess age,
No.
in line with this question, there's no age.
No.
When it's ready for you. Because
Yeah.
again, a degree could you kind of sit at the table on your mama's wall for a while
Yeah.
before it means something, before it
Right.
truly means something.
It costs
So
you a lot.
it does. It costs you a lot or
It costs
whatever
you a
you were
whole lot.
finagle to get that. But finagle, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a word.
But to get that, but no, but it's it won't necessarily to me it didn't necessarily mean anything until I put it to use.